Well,
I'm Jason.
I'm Jules, and we're doing Filmographies.
Oh, hey, do you want to hear a story before we go into it?
Sure.
About a year ago, I was hanging out on the couch, and I started getting fractals in my vision. Like very psychedelic, weird interruptions. And I was like, well, I'm partially blind here. I can't quite make things out.
Not like floaters.
No. Well, I mean, similar, but no,
Okay.
like fractals, like geometric patterns that blocked my vision and made it kind of confusing to see.
This is a year ago?
Yeah, it lasted like 30 minutes or something like that.
Really?
And then I was fine.
Wow.
And that is normally what happens to people before they have a migraine.
Oh.
And then it happened to me 2 days ago, and then it was gone, and then it got me again today when I was doing the doorbell.
Oh, boy.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I had, I once exerted myself and started seeing light splotches.
Yeah.
Like dots, glowing in and out, and that lasted for, I don't know, half a minute or something.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, God. Because I heard once or read somewhere that something like that is a precursor to losing your vision. I was like,
well, the best thing is like, oh, I found exactly what it is on here. Okay, it's a symptom of something bigger. You could have brain tumors or glaucoma.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it's neither of those.
God.
I can't imagine it'd be a brain tumor. I mean, it's been over a year.
Yeah.
So, but it's odd to have it happen a year ago and then twice in about 48 hours.
Yeah. Like on the anniversary of it happening.
Well, I don't think it was exactly a year ago.
Oh. I hate that in movies when they're like 2 years later and it's like to the date.
Yeah.
or it's only been, 11 months.
It's been 9 months, 14 days, 3 hours and 27 minutes and 14 seconds.
Yeah.
That would be obnoxious if they did it like that.
It would be, but it's not important, but when they're like 5 years later, it's like, I don't know, the exact date?
Yeah. Dude, you know what? I got pretty bummed out thinking about accidentally drawing Billy Crudup again.
Okay. We need to take those names out.
Oh, no, I mean, we got to do them all.
We'll put them in a different hat.
Maybe.
And then we'll put the hats next to each other on a rotating Lazy Susan. They're identical hats, and you spin them. So then you never know which hat you're going to choose from.
I just really don't want to watch The Good Shepherd again.
I really don't want to watch another Billy Crudup movie. And we ain't even done yet, folks.
I still love him. I feel like I see his tricks a little more. Have you seen The Good Shepherd, the Robert De Niro directed CIA movie with Matt Damon?
Yeah.
It's 2 hours and 57 minutes.
That movie got panned pretty hard.
It's okay, but far too long.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to do that again.
No.
Watching the High-Low Country, just really maybe not want to sit through a long, dull movie again.
Have you ever seen Monuments Men?
No.
I thought going in that was going to be something other than what it was. It was a very boring, nothing is happening kind of movie.
Clooney didn't direct that, or did he direct that?
I think he did.
Oh, because he's got leather heads. Yeah. And what's that? The Men Who Stare at Goats?
Yeah.
That's a trilogy of movies that I don't ever want to see.
He also did Confessions. Did he do Confessions?
Yes, which is fantastic. That's right up there on my list of favorite movies.
If he did nothing after that, that'd be a good way to go out.
Yeah, because I don't think I've really been especially into any of the other movies he's directed.
No, he's a very traditional Hollywood kind of guy.
But damn, that Confessions of a Dangerous Mind is very entertaining.
I mean, the movie's entertaining. It's crazy. The cinematography is like an acid dream.
And Sam Rockwell is driving the whole fucking bus.
And Julia Roberts.
Is she in that?
She's in that. She tries to poison him.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
She's a seductress.
So that's one of my very favorite movies, Jules.
Really?
Which translates into, or transitions nicely into, our 9th movie in the Billy Crudup series. Yeah. Jesus' Son.
Yeah.
From 1999? Is it 98?
Yes, 99.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Oh, man. The lady who directed this directed one movie prior to this in 92, Crush, and one in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Very strange. She's done some movies. She did the Natalie Imbruglia Torn video. She did a handful of music videos.
Well, and then later on, there's an actress in here who herself is a director, Miranda July.
Miranda July's in this? Oh, she's the nurse
with the black eye.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, she's done You and Everyone We Know.
I like Miranda July. I've never connected that before.
Yeah.
And boy, have I seen this movie a lot of times.
Oh, have you? Okay, that's right, because you really like this movie.
I love this movie so much.
You do.
And I was really worried that I would not love it again, because I haven't seen it in quite a while. But boy, this is something I used to watch a ton when I was smoking weed in my room all the time when I still lived at home with my mom.
Yeah.
And it was a movie I would unleash on people, I think in college.
Based on the title, I felt like I had seen it before. Watching it, I was pretty sure I hadn't. There was one moment towards, like, closer to the end where I was like, oh, maybe I did see this, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. And if I did, I remembered none of it.
God, I feel like it's a very memorable movie, though.
I watched the trailer and I was like, oh, this isn't at all. Oh, because I told you I thought it was some movie with Julianne Moore and, like, her son who doesn't exist, and then you said it was like an alien movie or something?
Yeah, I was thinking it was that, but maybe it's something else.
I was like, oh, Jack Black's in here?
Man, he sure is.
I mean, like, so I'll say this. I liked every supporting actor and character in this movie.
But not Billy?
No.
Oh, wow.
No.
Okay.
I absolutely despise his character.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's do the synopsis. I was so excited to hear what you had to say about this. Set in the early 1970s, Jesus' Son is a series of linked yet discrete stories that chart the to hell and back journey of a young man known only as FH, fuckhead,
Yeah.
told in the way a person might recount a series of anecdotes over a drink, with all the mistakes and exaggerations, false starts, and shuttling back in time that inevitably occurs. It is a stunning glimpse into the way one man's heart and mind work.
And that synopsis is as annoying as I found Billy Crudup in some of this movie to be.
Oh, wow. Man, I gotta tell you, I think Jenny thought the movie was fine. I begged her to watch it with me.
I think his performance is good. I just think the character is a complete nothing.
Oh.
And an absolute waste of time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love him. He's such a fuck up. It's amazing. He just marches. He marches into so many terrible situations.
It's like, is this guy on the spectrum? No. Is he just a wasteoid? Is he... I just couldn't get his deal, and I could not get behind him.
Wow. No, man, I think he's just kind of he's a fuckhead who's fucking around in his mid-20s, maybe? Yeah. I think he's probably supposed to be in his mid-20s.
Yeah.
And he gets in with the wrong people and ruins his life completely.
I also absolutely hated the narration.
Oh, really? God damn it, I found it so poetic.
It's one of those movies where he's like, oh, and then I met this person. Oh, but wait. And then there's like a record scratch. I forgot about this part. The narration is not the character. I found there to be a complete disconnect between Billy Crudup's performance as the narrator and his performance as FH. As a narrator, he's just a normal kind of sounding guy. FH, he's a fucking brain dead moron.
But I think that the way you could view the narration is that's the older, sober Crudup that we meet at the end of the movie.
I suppose.
Perhaps 10, 20 years down the line.
But he sounds way too put together for where we leave that character. He's better, but he is...
But he's only 6 months, 9 months into being sober at the end of the movie?
Like the nurse has to show him how to touch somebody in an endearing way. It's like...
I find that believable.
You know what? If this movie would have had a narrator removed, but was just a narrator... and was Michael Keaton, that would have went a long way.
Man, oh man. Okay.
So the movie starts, right? He's
stands up on the middle of the highway, right?
Right. It's
with
another
his blanket,
flash
wet,
forward.
Greasy.
Yeah, he was sleeping on the side of the road in a blanket.
He's been eating pills with the salesman. This is where he's been dropped off.
Yep. And then he's like, well, let me tell you about Samantha Morton's character?
Yeah, Michelle.
Let's talk about Michelle. And then it goes back. I met her because of these two guys.
I hate them. I hated them both.
We aren't even friends. We're friends because of a misunderstanding that clears itself up later. I don't know, something. So then they're walking to his Volkswagen Beetle Bug. And there's a guy sleeping in the back. And they don't know who he is. I like the line where he's like, what am I supposed to do in this scenario or something? And the guy's apparently deaf.
Yep.
So he's, through sign language, tells them about the party.
I would love to know how he got this across to them, because I can't picture it, man.
Well, but
they don't seem like they know sign language.
Well, no, but not only that, but they seem like they know that place. Or do they not? Is that the first time they're there?
It's confusing. I think it's the first time he meets Michelle. He does seem to know. He knows the guy from The Sopranos. I believe our fourth Sopranos.
Joe Ventimiglia.
I think he's Artie Bucco on The Sopranos.
The chef.
Yeah. Runs the restaurant.
Yeah.
He knows him. He's the one who started everybody calling him
Fuckhead, right. So,
which is like, I fucking love that scene where he's like, he's the one who started everybody calling me Fuckhead.
Now, honestly, when the deaf character, when he gets out and is walking into the house, I was like, that's a hulking man.
Yeah, he's very big.
He reminds me of number 1 from the Umbrella Academy.
Oh, sure. The big guy?
The ape guy.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've only seen like one episode.
Holy shit, this guy's a fucking tree trunk.
Yeah.
And they're like, is he really deaf? And the guy laughs. He's like, get out of here. You can't be in here.
I would love to know why he's not allowed there.
And not only that, then he just goes and curls up like a cat on the porch.
I've thought like a dog, but yes.
Yeah.
Can't be inside, but I guess you could sleep on the porch, man.
Okay. So they're kind of just smoking and
hanging out.
Billy Crudup's got his eye on Samantha Morton,
who comes down the stairs with Artie Bucco.
Yeah, and she's doing the craziest bopping.
She's
thrusting.
Doing a fucking super drug dance, dude. She's already fucking all cracked out, right? That is not like...
It's a dance I'm familiar with, but...
her lurching seemed very uppery to me.
It was insane. I loved it.
Oh.
In fact, her boyfriend, there's a moment where he walks by and he tries to give her a shotgun, and she's completely oblivious to it.
She's lost to the music. Oh, sweet pea.
So then he goes out to the bar and he starts making out with her.
Yup, and they're about to fuck out there.
It seems that way. He's like...
They're unbuckling pants.
He's unbuckling her pants quite rapidly.
Yeah.
And then Sopranos comes out and he's like, hey.
He kind of like, does he give him a look and he tells her to get back inside?
Yeah. He goes,
and then he really looks like he's about to hit him.
He walks right up to him.
And Crudup fucking rules in this scene, man, as somebody who looks like he's about to get hit and is scared. Oh, his face acting is wonderful.
When he doesn't hit him and he walks away, he almost looks disappointed.
Calls him fuckhead.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So then I think it fast forwards and we see him talking to the Mormons.
Yeah.
Or Jehovah's Witness. And he's kind of engaging.
It's like a year later.
In conversation, right.
He's got some interesting things to say, which sounds more like the narrator of the movie.
I guess. But then he sees Samantha Morton walk by. Michelle?
Yep.
And so he's like, all right, guys, I got to split.
Can I keep this?
Yeah.
He wants to keep the pamphlet.
And they don't say yes.
No, he just takes off.
And when he walks away, the one guy that we can still see, he kind of looks like, actually, I need that. But, so he goes and sits down next to Michelle, and immediately they're like, oh, sorry that your boyfriend's dead. Oh, I heard you tried to help him. And I was like, God, I know I'm already kind of spacing out, but did I miss something?
No.
No, because... And I forgot to tell you about the boyfriend. And then we go back at some point. He goes back to that farmhouse. Michael Shannon's out there chopping wood.
No, he's filling up water.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
For Artie Bucco.
Boy, he was young as
He's super young, man. This is the first thing I remember seeing him in. And I found him extremely terrifying when they do that shot of him at the piano.
Yeah.
And he just stares into the camera.
Well, he goes, hey, where's the guy? I forget his name.
No, I shot him.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
You know? And they go in, and sure enough, he's on the couch holding his gut, bleeding.
Hardcore.
Yeah,
he's already looking half dead.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I heard Dun. Is his name Dun?
Yeah. Dun.
I heard he shot him. Somebody shot somebody.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons I don't like Billy Crudup in this is because he looks like Ashton Kutcher.
Man.
Throughout the movie, I'm just like, this guy's doing full-on Ashton Kutcher here.
This movie's why I love this guy.
And so he's like, well, we should probably take him to the hospital, right? Billy Crudup says that.
Bring him in my car.
Like, yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't want to get in trouble. So he's dying in the back of the car. And
they're talking about the cap must have misfired. And he's like, and he's bleeding to death. He's like, yeah, it must have misfired.
Mm-hmm. And then he dies.
And fucking Crudup in the front, he starts crying, right?
A little bit.
Yeah. He's like, I didn't like him anyways. I'm glad he's dead.
Yep. And then does Michael Shannon suggest it? We should probably drop him off here.
Yeah, get him out of here.
Yeah.
I fucking love this movie so much.
So they leave him on the side of the road.
And then fucking Michael
go...
Shannon beats the shit out of Billy Crudup. Fucking stomps him in the field.
Oh, does he? I missed that completely.
And he's like, I could tell that there was kindness in his heart. He must have thought he didn't want me to tell.
Oh, I missed that completely.
Oh, God, he beats the fuck out of him.
I grew to enjoy watching this movie the more I did, but those opening 20 minutes, I was like, ugh.
Man, I'm fucked. I might just watch this movie again tonight.
I don't think I like drug movies, is the thing.
I used to really like them. Mm-hmm. This one still works for me.
Yeah, I don't think I like them. I think ultimately they're all kind of the same. Like most movies, but so then we're back on the bench and it's really cute because they're talking and then she goes, "Can I kiss you now?" And he's like, "No." And he's like,
and then they're silly and then
stinker,
they kiss.
Yeah.
I like how he explains he's never had a job, right? Is that what he says?
He says, "I don't have a job."
He has a car. I think he's doing pretty well.
I mean, it's the 70s and he's got a Beetle Bug. So yeah, it's not like a old car or anything. I
would like you to take stock of where he is at this point in the movie and where he ends up after hanging out with her, man. Because he's a bit of a piece of shit, but he's doing fine.
I don't think
after they hook up, it is a fucking rapid spiral.
Honestly, maybe, I don't know, because they go back to his apartment. He's got an apartment.
I thought that was her apartment.
I thought it was his.
Maybe.
Because he's like, kitchen.
Okay.
He points to the kitchen, and it's awkward as fuck. And then they go into the hallway, and she kisses on him. And then he's like, it's going too fast. Now, I realized when I saw you before, I was ripping open your pants, but now it's too fast. And she goes, I like it slow. And then we cut to her cooking heron in the kitchen the next morning.
That's a really wonderful scene too, man. She's just over there cooking up that spoon of heroin, and he's walking in, he's sleepy, he's kind of looking at her.
Yeah.
Then he starts staring more.
And he grabs cereal, and he's just like, it's like cooking up heroin?
Oh, here's the moment that his life falls apart.
Yeah, and she's just wrenching that belt on her arm and watching some rigmarole cartoon, and then
don't ever have a heroin girlfriend. Don't do it.
Because then it jumps to them in the hotel. He's like, we've been staying at this Holiday Inn or something.
And then I think it bounces out of there again.
It goes back. He goes, oh, wait, I forgot to mention whatever. God.
Dude, these vignettes move so fucking fast, though.
They do. I
never get bored watching this movie because we just keep shifting and shifting.
Well, no,
and shifting.
Yeah, because it's just a progression of elements, So I forget what it jumps back to, though. And then he comes back to the hotel, and is that when? No, that's later. So eventually they get into a fight, like druggies do.
Yeah,
and
I think it's the we're out of dope.
Yeah.
Let's turn on each other move.
Right. And she basically throws him out.
How do you think that makes me feel?
And then he goes, can I have my shirt?
And then he reveals like he slept with one of her friends, right?
He's
such a fuckhead.
He was hanging out with.
Yeah.
I think. He's like, I was just there or something.
Well, no, he fucked her.
Did he?
Yeah.
I guess.
He fucked her best friend.
I guess.
You don't even like her that much.
So she throws him out. She throws out his shirt. He's like, can I have my jacket maybe? And then she comes storming out like, you're going to leave me here?
Oh, because I think he took the last of the dope and the money?
And the money, yeah. And she's just, fuckhead, riding him, fuckhead. And
she's like up on his body, kind of like attacking him, but not really. Like she's not hitting him, but she's like on him.
And he finally pivots.
I'm always confused about this moment. Does he throw an elbow into her guts?
That's what I think. Yeah,
or
I think
is it an accident?
And she's there.
Yeah.
And he's remorseful because he made physical contact with her, but I don't think he was malicious.
I don't think he meant to do it.
She was riding him hard, and he just was going to probably turn around and be like, leave me alone or something, but he inadvertently elbows her.
Yeah.
And then, of course, three guys are in a car for some reason, and they get out like, hey, dude.
Hey, bullshit, you just hit her, man.
Yeah, he did hit me. She runs away, and he's just like, somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah, they're about to beat the shit out of him, and then she peels off in his car.
In their car.
The guy's car.
Like a Cadillac, and drives around. And
I would like to say that I think Billy Crudup plays junkies so well, because when he's coming out of that hotel room and putting on his clothes, even once he gets his boots on, he's just like shuffly stomping.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not a normal person's walk. This is like somebody who's in the throes of drug addiction. Movements.
He had a lot of training in his brief.
In these other terrible movies. Yeah.
What was that movie called? Sleepers? In his brief portrayal of a drug guy in
Sleepers,
Sleepers, and then of course in
Monument
Monument
Avenue.
Avenue, where he's full blown drug guy. And so, does he find that car later? Is that the car that he sees parked on the side road where he almost takes the guitar?
No. That's just a random car he's stealing from. The window's open.
I thought it was she dumped that car, and then he's like, "Oh,
I don't think so. No, I think he just sees the coat.
Because he tries to grab a guitar,
and then he sees the crucifix.
That's right.
And he decides to leave it.
That's right.
The guitar. He keeps the coat though.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when he hooks up with Denis Leary.
Yeah, and at first I was like, "Is that Ron Hildard?" Because he's got like major sideburns. I think he's wearing
similar to the sideburns in Monument Avenue, but not disgusting.
Yeah,
somebody cleaned him up.
Yeah, and I'm like, damn, Ron Hildard. And then I was like, oh wait, no, who is? Oh, it's Denis Leary,
old timey alcoholic junkie Denis Leary.
He can't even lift his drink.
No, he's got the shakes.
He does.
He needs his first drink of the day.
And there's some old hag.
Yeah, the lady that fucks with him.
And he's like, what does he say? I got a plan in my mind to make money. Or something.
That's the only place you're going to make money is in your mind. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I need your car though, and so they go to a house.
And I think that's why he went to go see him, right? Like the guy's always got like a scam cooking.
I imagine.
Like.
Yeah, he said something like maybe he was out of dope, and so he figures, yeah, this guy will figure something out.
Yeah, he slams the rest of the dope that they have, and then finds Denis Leary.
Mm-hmm. So then they go to a house and they start pulling copper.
Oh man, I love when they flicking the light switches to make sure there's no electricity so they don't get electrocuted.
Yeah,
because I've been doing some electric work in my new house, and you definitely don't want to get electrocuted.
Yeah, and Billy Crudup's just dicking around.
I know, he's completely useless, right?
Just hammering walls. Like if Denis Leary had walked in at that moment, he could have caught a hammer to the face.
Yeah.
Because he's just flailing.
The only time that he is helpful is when he has that wad of copper that he brings to him. But the entire other 2 minutes, he's just fucking putzing around.
Which I kind of felt like, did he just pick up a bundle that Denis Leary left in the room?
Yeah.
He just busts through the fucking wall and just... And then Denis Leary throws something through the window?
The bundle of copper.
Just out the window?
To down by the car.
I guess.
So they don't have to lug it down.
And then what happens?
Well, let's not forget that he throws up because he's working out real hard while he's high on heroin.
I thought he smelled something.
No, man, he's exerting himself too much while he's high on heroin.
To the wall. Yeah. I was like, oh, is there a dead body in there?
Nope. And then they see a naked woman parasailing slowly across the window.
Was she parasailing?
Isn't that what she's doing?
I thought she was on like a zip line.
No, parasailing. It makes no sense.
First off, where is this movie? Is this in New York or New Jersey?
I think are they in Chicago now?
Oh, they end up in Chicago.
They're in Oregon and they end up in Chicago at some point.
The movie starts in Oregon?
Yeah, it's all Oregon stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's Dennis Johnson's, like, the guy who wrote the book that the movie's based off of. It's like a very Oregon guy.
So, yeah, this woman's nude. Strapped to a harness, flying through the air.
Crudup comments about how it's like he's in somebody else's dream.
He's in Denis Leary's dream.
Yeah.
And he goes, whose house is this? And Denis Leary's like, this is my house. All right. He's like, how do you know nobody was here or something? And he goes, because this was my house.
I mean, he had the keys to get in the house.
I guess.
Yeah.
And then when they're leaving, he goes, that was my wife. I'm like, okay.
I'm curious about this. Do you think the house was foreclosed upon due to his drug problem and she's moved on to something else?
Yeah, I imagine she left him.
Because I don't think they have ownership over it anymore. Because why would you rip the copper out?
Right, he said it was my house. It was my house.
You get $400 worth of money for the copper.
They were probably renting
$10,000 to replace all the electrical lines.
Well, no, because he goes, we both got $40.
Yeah.
From all the copper.
Each.
Yeah. So, of course, they go back to the bar and
like Richmond.
Yeah.
I guess $40 in the 70s, not terrible.
I mean, it's not terrible. That's maybe like a week's wages if you worked at McDonald's or something.
I wonder.
And so they get the old lady drunk, and they're drinking, and then they decide to get some heroin.
The cutest scene in the movie.
I love that so much.
Where they each they split up and go down each side of the road, and then he doubles back to peek around the corner, and there's Leary, and they're laughing. Oh my god! It embodies like a drunk afternoon so well when you're having fun with a friend on a drunk afternoon.
It's pure magic.
I love it,
and it really makes the next scene hit you so much harder.
This movie is memorable as hell.
Because it goes split screen.
It sure does. They both go home to do their heroin.
Billy Crudup's looking for Michelle.
He goes to Michelle's house to shoot up there.
Yeah.
And Dennis Leary's in like an efficiency apartment, like a one-room thing.
Maybe a flop house or something.
Yeah. Like a furnished apartment building.
Yeah, it could be like one of those old ones where you share a bathroom on the floor, but you just have a room. And maybe like a hot plate.
And they both cook it up, start shooting.
And immediately.
Well, Denis Leary doesn't look super troubled, even though he starts to fall over.
That's what was curious, because he just looks like he's in the throes of heroin.
Yeah.
And is passing out.
Maybe like he's ready to go. And Crudup is clearly dying.
He's, looking...
he's been poisoned immediately. He's breathing...
Yeah.
It's sad and disturbing.
And this whole time, it's still split screen. Denis Leary just basically keels over.
He falls over.
Michelle comes in and finds Billy.
And rescues him with tactics that don't work in real life, like shoving ice down his pants and throwing him in the shower. Denis Leary's neighbor comes into his apartment, turns off the radio, looks at him down on the ground, and leaves.
Yeah. It's hard. Did he fall out of the chair, or was he just slumped over in the chair?
I think he fell out of the chair.
Yeah, so the guy just,
just another drunk, I guess. There should be a needle sticking out of his arm, but the guy is old.
Sure. Yeah, so Denis Leary's dead.
It's a extremely powerful, sad moment in the movie.
It is.
Not the last.
No, and that's just it. God, I like so much of this movie, except FH.
Gosh dang it. You better watch this thing again.
No, I would never watch this movie.
Oh my god.
Ever again.
I would seriously watch it again tonight. I really would.
Yeah, so she saves him, and then pretty much we fast forward a little bit, and she's pregnant.
Is that where we go next?
Because he's working at a hospital.
Is that at the same time? I was wondering about that.
Yeah, he goes, I got to get a job now because Michelle's pregnant.
Oh, sure, okay.
I got to make myself... We're trying to get clean and shit. But he works on the night shift with the orderly, played by Jack Black.
Oh, my goodness, it's great.
Was this his first role? This might have been.
I think
like outside of like Tenacious D.
No, it's definitely not. I mean, he was in a few... He's in like Bob Roberts. I feel like he's in that Airborne movie. I feel like he's probably in one or two other movies right around this time. I mean, The Jackal is around this time.
Well, sure, yeah. He was
Orange County.
He was in a couple as a young guy. He was in Waterworld.
Sure.
As a kind of a background guy.
But this is... Yeah, I mean, this is very early Jack Black.
It's not his first movie. He's not Jack Black. He's Jack Black, but he's not like Jack Black to the public.
He's doing that Jack Blacky thing a bit, but it really works within this character.
Yeah, he's not singing all the time.
How does it start? Does it start with the guy with the knife coming in?
No, he goes to find Jack Black, and he's squatting on the floor talking about what is he going to do about his shoes.
They're really squeaking.
They're really squeaking. And he's rocking back and forth. He's like, you hear it? And Billy Crudup's like, I'm just going to go through your pockets.
Yeah, he takes his pills.
Yeah.
So the thing with Jack Black and Billy Crudup is they're just straight up stealing the drugs.
Jack Black, he's an orderly, so he has access to it. I don't know what Billy Crudup does, but Jack Black steals them and then they split it.
Yeah.
And so he takes some pills and they're just fucked out of their brains.
You know what, man? Why do they have to take the pills at work? Can anybody answer that for me?
No,
they're mixing them too.
I think Billy Crudup takes them at work because he's hiding the fact that he's doing them from Michelle.
Oh, sure. So he doesn't have to share, and also she's trying to stay clean.
Not only does he... I don't think it's even like a sharing thing. I think it's just like... She seems like she's kind of on the right path.
Yeah.
And he's probably telling her that he is too. But he's clearly not. So overnight while he's at work is probably the only time he could get fucked up.
So he's squishing those shoes. Crudup takes a bunch of his pills.
Yep, and they're fucked up.
Later on, he wants them back.
I think there's like a couple of scenes where they're maybe doing dumb stuff. And then the guy comes in with the knife in his eyeball.
And he's telling him, My wife stabbed me in the eye.
Yep.
I was looking at her sister.
He was peeping at the neighbor, I think.
Yeah.
And
she waited till he was sleeping.
And then she
stabbed him in the eye.
Yep.
And they're like, "Do you want us to call the police?" And he pauses. And he's like, "Only if I die."
Only if I die. So the doctor comes out. Billy Crudup's with the nurse, who's like really good. She's freaking out, but she's like not overselling it.
And those boys are on drugs.
Yeah.
They're Billy and Jack Black are on drugs right now. Jack Black way more than Billy Crudup, probably on different drugs.
Yeah, he's like laying on a stretcher at this point. And the doctor comes out and he's like, "All right, I need you to call an eye guy. The best eye guy.
Because I'm not going to touch it.
I need a really good eye guy. I need a brain guy."
A brain guy and an anesthesiologist.
Right. And so Billy Crudup calls.
High off his ass, repeats exactly what he said, implying that the guy's a pussy and won't
he's like, he doesn't want to do anything. He's incapable, basically. And the doctor's just looking at him.
And Jack Black's doing like nothing helpful at this moment.
Yep.
And the doctor's like, "What's up with your orderlies?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "As long as they're functioning, they're fine."
Yep. And so Billy Crudup's like, the eye guy, is it the eye guy? He's somewhere else. The brain guy's coming and the anesthesiologist is coming.
They're going to get the second best eye guy.
Yeah.
They're looking into it.
And meanwhile, Jack Black just saunters off.
And at some point, he's prepping the gauze. And one of my favorite lines of the movie is like, "His face is dark. I can't see what he's saying." I love that. That's
the doctor's
drug line.
Go prep him. And he comes walking back out, holding a knife.
Yeah, completely oblivious to what's going on. Everybody's horrified.
A nurse shows up at this point, another nurse, and maybe one of the doctors.
And somebody tells him his shoe's untied because they're all a little bit scared of him because he's got that knife.
He walks up, we see the shoe, and he's holding this bloody knife, and somebody says something. "Where'd you get the knife?" And then the nurse goes, "Your shoe's untied." So he puts the knife on the floor and ties his shoe. And they go in, and they realize that he pulled it out of this guy's fucking eye socket.
Yeah, definitely.
And miraculously, he didn't lose sight in the other eye.
Right. Didn't mess up his brain.
Didn't mess up his brain. I think he's blind in that eye.
I would imagine.
Because it was like...
I doubt she's poking it in the very corner.
It was a hunting knife.
It's got to go right in the middle.
You think it's the hunting knife he has later?
It absolutely is.
Yeah, okay.
For sure it is. So, yeah. That's my favorite thing, man. I mean, I have so many favorite things in this movie, but I love it when he takes that knife out and you're like, "Oh,
yeah,
he kept it. He still works there after this, too."
Yeah.
He still works there. Nobody fires them.
Right. So then we see Billy with Michelle on the bed in their place. And I thought this was an incredibly intimate scene. Kind of dumb, but it's effective. Where they're recapping what they said that first night in his apartment. She's like, "You want to do the first night or whatever?"
Is this now or is this later when they get together later?
This is now.
Okay. I thought this was maybe... Because they have the abortion situation, they split
later,
up.
Right.
And then he comes back.
No, because she's pregnant. She's like tapping her belly or something at this point. And so they're doing the thing, line by line, what they said.
And aren't they cutting back to that previous
They cut back to it
a
a few times. And the amount of building rapture in her performance it's really good.
No, I think she's very good in this. I do not have the same feelings that you have for her.
Okay. Well,
but I think she's amazing.
I mean, regardless of the attraction, yeah, I think that scene, it felt very intimate, very... I guess real. It's kind of a weird thing to say. People always say it, but
no. But you're correct.
And then we see him with Jack Black again at the hospital, and he's like, "I gotta quit it," right?
And instead
he's like, "Let's go to the fair."
Oh yeah.
So they take pills.
That was the worst fair I've ever been to.
There weren't any rides.
What are you talking about? There were rides everywhere.
Yeah,
I didn't see them.
Yeah, and then Jack Black runs over a bunny.
They go really far after hitting it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then he like reverses a foot.
Yeah.
And then hops out and starts...
runs back like 30 feet.
Starts cutting up the bunny while they play that song. They have like a marching like...
Yeah. He's like, "Let's cook it.
He wants to make
Let's
rabbit
camp
stew.
and cook or something." So he runs back and Billy Crudup's just like watching him. And all of a sudden he returns with a shirt full of rabbit babies.
Yep, very, very premature babies.
Very. So I'm like,
we'll get him some milk and some sugar.
was his intention to carve the rabbit, but then he realized it was pregnant?
Yeah, and he's decided to save the bunnies.
Okay, so
and gives them to
Billy Crudup.
Fuckhead. Why would you give him to Fuckhead?
Yeah, he's like, let's get milk and sugar, and we'll raise these bunnies, and
they'll be big as oxen.
Some shit.
Like that.
Yeah, and then they pull over and start frolicking in a field.
They are wandering for so long, and they're so high.
Yeah.
And Crudup's like cradling the bunnies in his hand most of the time.
Yeah, the whole time, like Jack Black was, and he even says, "Hey, careful for the bunnies," while they're frolicking and pirouetting and shit.
Stumble into a massive graveyard, crosses everywhere, glowing.
Yes,
freaking them the fuck
and
out.
He's like, "What do you? What is it? What is this?" And Jack Black's like, "Wow,
why are the crosses everywhere?"
And I don't see anything. What do you mean? He's like, so like,
and then he sees the massive film of Michelle,
black and white, yeah. And
doing kind of scary horror faces.
Yeah, and it's effective.
Yeah.
And then Jack Black's like, "Oh, we're at a drive-in.
There's nobody here. It's still playing the movie."
Yeah, the crosses are like PVC pipe that they pipe the.
They have the speakers hanging on them, and Billy Crudup's like, "Oh,
I thought it was something else." That was a good line.
I fucking love it. And then we cut to them back in the car.
Yep.
They're asleep.
Yeah.
He wakes up. There's snow all over the windows.
Mm-hmm.
We got another blizzard for Billy Crudup, just like the high-low country.
Yep.
And what does he try to get him to?
Well, Jack Black's like, "Oh, we got to stop and get milk for the bunnies." And he goes, I got to go, man. I got to get home. And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, we got to stop and get the milk."
No, listen, man. Forget about the bunnies.
Yeah. Forget about it. What do you mean? Forget about where are the bunnies? And then he's like...
He just keeps trying to deflect for a little bit.
And he just breaks down.
It's so great. They slid around behind and I squashed the bunnies.
Yeah, Jack Black's like, "What?
Everything you touch does turn to shit, doesn't it?"
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. See, I didn't get the impression at this point in the movie that everything he does touch turns to shit.
Absolutely everything he touches turns to shit.
I mean...
He makes the wrong decision in every situation. But kind of not. He also tends to get himself out of harm's way.
Like, his relationship kind of was shitty, but, she was a doper too.
But he pursued a doper. He fucking kept going back to that bad house. Like,
I guess, but...
He
can
save himself in the situation.
That's what they all do. None of them are saints.
Ugh.
Or, none of them are upstanding citizens.
No.
They're not going anywhere. So it's not like they're... who is Jack Black to judge?
But also, most of them that aren't doing heroin might be fine in 5 or 10 years.
I suppose.
This could just be the...
Because he's not doing heroin at this point. He's just doing the pills.
Yeah, I suppose.
And Jack Black's like, "Oh, the yellows will put you to sleep and the blue ones will something." And he's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "I'll take both. Give me more.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I got to get sober before I get home." So he's been out all night. And is this when he comes home and spoons her? No. That's later.
I think this is... I imagine him coming home after this, which I don't think we see.
Is this when they go to the abortion?
This is what triggers the abortion.
"You're useless."
Yeah.
So they go to the abortion clinic, and there's, religious folk outside. They get inside, and the nurse is like, "All right, let's, make you comfortable." And Billy Crudup, goes up to the door, just stands there.
Like, no.
She's like, "You can't be anywhere here."
And he's a little bit hostile.
"I'll go sit over there." "Yeah, you do that." "I will do that."
And the women are glaring at him because
he's fucking around with a uterus or something.
Yeah, but also he's the problem. He's the impregnator.
Yeah.
The enemy is in the building.
Yes, this is a safe space. We're doing things that we are not sure about. This guy shouldn't fucking be here.
No.
This dipshit. So then she goes, "Hey,
you can go back now.
Go in there."
Yeah.
And he goes in, and she's not immediately against him.
No, well, no, it's the things he says to her.
So he goes, "How you doing?"
Yeah.
Right, and she goes,
"What did they stick inside you, or what did they stick up inside you?"
And she gives him the appropriate...
"What did you say to me?"
Yeah.
"What'd you say?" And
the nurse is like, all right, get out of here.
then he's like, we could try again. Fucking 2 for 2, the worst fucking things you could say to a woman that just had an abortion.
Yeah. What he like?
Oh, fuck it.
He goes, it's too soon or something. I didn't
There wasn't enough time.
And so the guard throws him out, and he's just like, all right, or some shit.
And this is it. This is Michelle and him split.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Is this when we meet John Smith? You remember John Smith?
Is this
the dad from Inventing the Abbots? Because he goes to her apartment.
Oh, yeah.
And she's packing, and he's just on the couch, or the bed.
Will Patton is just chilling, running his mouth.
Talking about swans? I don't understand what's going on there.
Is he like well, I mean, he's like some dude that's like picked her up and is going to maybe start a life with her. She's probably going to start doing drugs again. I don't know.
Well,
maybe he's
I'm like, oh, is he going to like pimp her?
Oh, I don't know.
She's like, he's got work for me. And he's like, we're going down to Mexico, and there's these white birds that swim on the... Swans? You mean fucking swans? Hey, man, shut up.
I thought he was smooth as fuck. I really liked Will Patton.
He wasn't losing his cool. He didn't threaten anybody.
Will Patton was a bad motherfucker in this thing. I never even occurred to me he was a pimp. I thought that was just like her next boyfriend.
That's what the impression that I got was, but then when we see her later on, it does not seem like she had any problem getting out of that relationship or that anything nefarious had occurred.
I mean, I don't know how much time has elapsed, but I imagine that whatever happened there, I assume she started doing drugs again pretty extensively, because when we find her again, she's clean. She's doing well.
So after she leaves, what does he do? Does he immediately get the job as the newsletter guy?
No, that's after. That's after he overdoses.
So she leaves him.
I think maybe, I don't know exactly
and then
what
does he do?
I mean, the movie's fractured like this. It's hard to follow.
I forget what he does. He's
looking for her.
He eventually does go look for her, and that's when we get to him on the road.
Oh, this is where is he in the car? We flash back to the salesman.
Yes.
The accident. We find out the baby didn't actually die in the accident in the beginning, which was upsetting.
Right, because he says, as soon as I saw the Oldsmobile, I knew there was going to be an accident.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a collision.
I imagine that little girl and the husband die.
Because the baby's just lying on the back seat.
Yeah, the baby should die.
The baby should have flown up into either the back of the mom's head or the windshield.
He saved the baby.
I guess. So there's a dad, a mom, and a young daughter in the front seat, and they trust William. They stop to pick up a hitchhiker.
It's the 70s.
With their baby lying in the back.
Pretty terrible idea. I like how he also... It's like, listen, little girl who's trying to talk to me in the front seat with the doll. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm a drug addict.
Yeah.
I've been sleeping in the rain, wrapped up in a sleeping bag.
So, yeah, then they get into a collision, and he gets out of the car with the infant. There's a guy in the other car. Are they in Mexico at this point?
No.
Is he going to Mexico?
I don't think so.
Where's he going to find Michelle?
Isn't this how he ends up in Chicago, or no?
They have the abortion in Chicago. Okay. Does she go back to Chicago?
I have no idea.
I don't know. So, because the guy's laying outside the car dying, hanging out of his car dying.
Yes.
And it looked like there was maybe money on the ground.
I don't know.
And I'm like, is that Mexican? I don't know. So
I don't think he's in Mexico.
The truck driver shows up and he flags him down. He's like, hey, there's an accident. In case you couldn't see.
Yeah.
And then we cut to him at Samantha Morton's house. And he knocks on the door and she opens it. John Smith ain't there. She seems together.
It's been a while, I think.
I think it's been a year.
Okay.
Maybe.
Could be.
And he looks like shit.
I mean, he usually
But she's happy to see him. She hugs on him and he's like, I saved a baby. I was in an accident, but I saved the baby. And she's like, what? And it almost seems like he's trying to be like, I saved this baby, even though you had an abortion before.
Oh, really? I never picked up on that.
So, I
thought it was just the joy of saving a baby.
Maybe. And so he's like, I shouldn't have come here. I got to get out of here. And then she's like, no, come on. I mean, not nuzzle into your neck. I mean, muzzle up to the nape of your neck.
What? You know what? I'm really foggying on what happens here. Like what?
So they start together again.
Yeah.
But
then they're like, things are great, but then we have a fight.
He goes out. Yes, he had a fight. They had a fight. And he goes, I went out walking. And does he go get drunk? Because he comes back fucked up.
He's super fucked up, yeah.
I don't remember where he went or what he did, but he crawls up and spoons her, and
she mumbles something to him.
Yeah, and you could tell she doesn't want him even touching her. Because you could tell he says, like, I messed up, and because she doesn't immediately blow up at him.
I don't think that's at all what's happening there, that she doesn't want him touching her.
Mm-hmm.
She's dying. She's probably trying to fight through the narcotic haze to, like, tell him what's happening.
No. As I recall, he comes home, she's sleeping.
She's not sleeping. She's dying.
No. I don't think that's right. Because she leaves him a note.
That says, wake me if you love me.
Right.
Because she's OD'd on pills. She has killed herself. It's his chance to save her.
I got the impression, because he comes home fucked up, that's why she took the pills.
Nah,
and
man.
left him the note.
No, that note is behind him when he snuggles her. You can see the note behind him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's super fucking sad. She tried to get him to save her.
So why doesn't she say anything when he comes in?
Because she's fucking dead.
They
half
talk,
dead.
though, don't they?
No. She just is
God.
like, she goes, you can't even understand what she says. That's
God,
all you get.
I missed that.
No, she's like, she's dying right then.
I thought okay, so she does it after the fight.
Yeah, at some point after the fight before he comes home.
Okay.
And if he had not gotten fucked up,
right,
he would have seen the note, which is like a big thing that I think sends him overboard.
Because I thought because he came home fucked up, she's like, oh, you know what? And does a bunch of pills.
No, man, it's so much more tragic than that. So much more tragic.
So, yeah, he takes him he tries to do the ice in the crotch.
She's been dead for a while, bro.
More than likely.
Yeah.
And then she's dead on the bed.
And then he finds the note.
And he
eats it.
Well, he found the note. He wakes up, finds the note, and then he puts her in the shower and everything.
He touches her first and probably realizes she's cold.
So then he lays her naked on the bed, and actually, this is a really good shot.
Yeah.
He's on the edge of one of the beds, looking directly into the camera, pretty close to the camera. Behind him, Samantha Morton sprawled out on the bed, face down, I think.
No. She's laying on her
face
back.
up?
Yeah.
But his head sort of like blocking the nudity.
No.
I don't know. But so he then just all of a sudden shoves the note in his mouth and eats it.
Yep.
And then I guess leaves?
Yep.
Her dead there?
Guess what are you going to do?
I guess. He didn't want to go to jail.
No, it's so tragic. This is the fucking... They switched
For
spots. She saved him.
idiot.
He didn't save her because he's a fuckhead.
For this idiot, she kills herself. Good Lord. I want to put him over my knee and spank him.
Oh, boy. And then...
so then
things get worse.
Ventures off somewhere.
I think, is this the scene where he's following the guy with the heart tattoo? He doesn't know it's the heart tattoo.
He's all fucked up. He's on the train, and he sees this guy who looks equally fucked up.
Yep.
With like a snakeskin coat on.
Yep.
And he's like, the guy gets off the train. This is Chicago, because he's on the L. Guy gets off the train, and he's sitting there for a split second, and he decides to go after him. And he fights through the closing door. But he's 8 feet behind the guy going down the stairs.
Yeah, so obvious.
The guy even looks back.
Follows him right to the laundromat, where the guy takes off his coat,
takes off his shirt,
yeah,
and puts on his coat.
Okay.
And
that guy's talking to some people. Billy Crudup staring right at him.
And so the guy he's talking to is like, what's this honky doing?
Yeah, and he goes over there. You following me, man?
Mm-hmm. And then he looks down and he's got
a crazy heart tattoo.
Yeah, like with
the thorns of Jesus.
Yeah, and a knife in it or something.
It starts glowing.
Yeah,
really psychedelic.
The laundromat gets like red, and
he gets super scared.
And he runs out,
runs away, and then reveals to us that
his heart was pounding. He could barely keep it together.
He was very hard.
Extremely erect. He says,
"It could have been anyone."
Gay, but I hear this happens.
I mean, probably, man. Just the amount of drugs this guy's on, I could see.
Yeah,
you get enough speed in there. You're like, I don't know. That was an interesting guy to be horny for, though.
Right,
that guy's very creepy.
Ugh, yeah. So then at this point,
he goes to a party. Is it a party?
Walk me through it.
He's at like that. He must be at like a nightclub. And that's where he meets Miranda July with the black eye.
Of course, yeah.
And she offers him the biggest pill you've ever seen in your life that's full of ground mushrooms.
It almost seems like it's like a
A suppository.
A party / performance art thing, because she's a nurse with a black eye.
She's not really a nurse.
She's dressed like a nurse. Because her credit is nurse with a black eye.
No, because I think she's just a regular lady with a bandana and a black eye. It's the drugs that make him see the nurse as her.
The nurse.
She's playing the nurse also, but that's like a drug thing that he's experiencing.
What nurse?
When they're wheeling him through, when he's overdosed on the mushrooms, there's a nurse there, and he thinks it's her. I mean, obviously she's not at the party and also at the hospital.
I guess I don't even. I completely.
So she offers him this crazy mushroom.
Yeah, she's like, I want some mushroom pill.
It's ground. It's like the size of a ring pop, if not bigger. And he takes it, and they cut to him walking through the party with the flashing lights, the concert, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And his face is crazy. Like, he's clearly something terrible's about to happen.
Okay.
And then does it cut to black? Does he fall? The next thing you know, he's being wheeled through on a stretcher. And that's where you see her again.
Okay.
And she can't really be there. This is a hallucination.
Right. Okay.
The doctors are talking to him. They get him in a room. They're like, are you hearing any strange voices? Are you seeing anything weird? Something like that. And then he looks over and the cotton balls are all screaming at him.
God,
he's like, I'm not ready to or he says, not really.
I must have been ready for this movie to be over because I don't remember any of that.
Gosh golly.
All I know is that he eventually goes somewhere.
After this horrible thing, it cuts out.
Of course.
And then he's shaving Dennis Hopper at the rehab center.
He's in the rehab center. And he's there for...
I think like 6 months, man.
Yeah. So he's kind of cleaned up. And he's shaving Dennis Hopper.
Who's got bullet hole scars through his mouth.
Yeah, on both his cheeks.
He's there for being a drunk driver that has killed people, I think.
He did kill someone. Man, I was never more happy to see Dennis Hopper.
It was nice. It's a good role. It's full of regret and sadness. I really like it when he asks Billy Crudup if he's married, and he's like, I'm not ready to talk about that.
Yep, and he goes, I've been there, bro. And then he even says, like, what do I have to, like, look forward to or live for or something? And Billy's like, well, you're a nice guy. And he's like, look at me.
No, he says something, and then he says,
look into my eyes.
He tells him
look into
the bullet hole through his mouth.
Look into the butthole on my face.
Yeah.
And so...
Then we cut to either where he's working now as an orderly, and he's a strange, awkward, sober guy, or else the AA or NA meeting.
They hooked him up with a job or something.
I imagine that was part of it, right?
It felt like he was in, like, Arizona.
Sure.
When he's walking past the Mormon house.
In those hills, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not Mormons. What are you...
Oh, they're Mennonites. He says Mormon. He says, these Mormons.
Yeah.
No, Amish.
Okay.
But then he realizes...
More likely Mennonites.
So he gets a job writing a newsletter at a...
convalescence home.
It's...
People of varying degrees of... They have to be housed.
Elderly, there's young people who are schizophrenic.
There's that guy who's in a lot of stuff who plays the guy with cerebral palsy.
I was trying to place him because he's got curly hair.
He's usually very angry. I want to say he's in Veep, but I don't know if that's true. So he's working there, and the lady's like, "Listen, you got to touch these residents," because when he's trying to go talk to her, he's like basically dodging different people so they don't talk to him or touch him.
Boris McGiver was the name of the actor in the chair.
Oh, and he's a real sad case. His wife dumped him off there.
It's heartbreaking.
It's like he progressed from being perfectly fine to in this wheelchair and not able to talk, and his wife just abandoned him there.
Yeah, it's... So, on his way to the bus to get to work, he passes a house and he hears a
Beautiful
siren
singing,
song,
yes.
basically. Oh, brother, where art thou? Style. So what does he do? Like anybody else.
Yes, start peeking through the windows.
On this woman showering. Now, we don't see anything but her in the shower. But then immediately we subsequently learn that she's Amish or Mennonite. So...
Lives with her husband.
Bad enough kids. He's already peeping.
Yeah.
Now he's peeping on a woman who, by all accounts, should not be seen nude by anybody.
Yes.
Probably not even her husband. I think they do it through a sheet later in the movie.
Shut up. They don't do it through that.
So...
Who is it that... I don't think that's the... is that... That's not... I don't think that's the Mennonites that do it through the sheet.
No.
I don't even know if the sheet's a real thing. But
I think that was something from Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I think it's Upright Citizens Brigade. No?
I thought that was a thing from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Because they're like, what kind of sheets? Anyways, so he's making the habit of
listening to her.
Yes.
Peeking at her.
Eventually, like, spying on their dinner, and
it makes him, I think, feel normal and a part of the family.
Yeah.
It's not sexual.
No.
He wants to be a part of their lives.
Yes.
Like, I think he wants that to be his life.
Yes.
For all the terrible things that he's done and been through to go away,
right.
And to be this niceness.
So the nurse is also slowly trying to coach him on being like a human.
And
he slowly starts opening up. He announces the birthday of that asshole.
Man, that guy's got some.
Don't touch a chair. Don't touch a chair.
I don't know that he's.
I'm not saying he's an ass. He's just being he's a curmudgeon.
That line about "there's a price to be paid for having dreams" is about one of the worst lines I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. And like having spent time in facilities like that, yeah, it's not pleasant.
No.
And those places very much by circumstance, sometimes, if you can't give care, those places are the only option.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have money, to have a Philip Seymour Hoffman taking care of you, Magnolia style. Yeah. Those people, that's like $32 an hour.
Yeah.
To pay for somebody to do that. So he's also going to
NA or AA.
Yeah, some support groups
where he meets Holly Hunter.
Is she injured, or does she have like CP?
I already said the other guy had palsy. So is it muscular dystrophy or cerebral palsy?
It could be, yeah. Because
she's got the arm crutches for walking.
She's got one crutch, but she also seems to be favoring an arm.
Yeah.
And the dude that's talking at the introduction of that scene, they got like somebody doing sign language interpretation while he's talking.
I don't recall.
I
don't recall that, sir.
Yeah, he's talking, and it feels like a performance piece. It's like, is this guy doing slam poetry? What's going on here? And then next to him is a guy doing sign language, and he's really signing. I mean, that's some powerful signage he's doing there. And then he turns around and he sees Holly Hunter come in, and then after the meeting, is it the same meeting or is it the meeting where she talks?
They have some sort of interaction at one meeting, and at the next one, I think he
needs a ride.
Decide to, yeah.
And she goes, "Oh, I'm going down there. I'll give you a ride. I'm Holly Hunter."
And then they go eat together, drink.
Well, in the car right before they get in, he's like, "Yeah, my girlfriend OD'd." And she's like, "I know all about it."
God damn it!
So then, yeah, they just sort of become friendly.
And she takes him through the 30 boyfriends she's had
that
have
comical.
All died horrible deaths. I didn't even remember this from however many times I've seen this. I think I saw this as a cuter romance, without seeing how hard they were trying to make it funny.
Yeah. She's like, and then that guy died, and then my second husband. Did I tell you how he died?
Like legitimately.
And I was living with a black guy for a while, and he died, and I'm just like, she's like, everybody I love dies, and I'm like.
Then eventually he's railing her.
Well, so then they're at some sort of a dance, like a AA dance.
Oh yeah, like a little prom
something sober
with
in the
punch,
back. Prom sober or something.
Yeah.
So he's like, brings her a cup of punch. She's got a cup of punch,
but he gives it to her anyways.
He's like, you want to dance? So she goes, I normally don't, but sure. And she gets up and she's got the 2 glasses of punch. She sits down. And he's like, hey, you need your crutch? She goes, no, thanks. And they go and dance, and it's nice.
It is nice.
She's slowly resting her head on his chest, and he's kind of touching her back, and then they go to have sex.
And it seems tender and adult and nice. He's laying that pipe good. She's receptive. That arm starts floating up.
She starts heiling Hitler.
I think it's whatever her ailment is. It's making that arm float.
I guess, but yeah, that's one of. There's very few sex scenes in movies where I buy it.
Yeah, I liked that. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
Me like that good. It seemed real.
He's easing in. He's
her reaction,
learning her body.
Yeah.
And then he's laying the pipe, and she's like, yeah. pipe it.
Yep.
And she's climaxing, and
that's that.
they laugh. There's a moment where they laugh. Something happens, and they just break out into laughter. It's so fucking effortless. But that's Holly Hunter for you.
And you would think it would end there.
But it doesn't.
It ends outside the Mennonite.
So he goes into the Mennonites again. He hears her, "Oh Lord, I'm washing my body."
Oh, we never actually talked about how he broke into the house. How he snuck into the house and the husband caught him.
That's this point, is it not?
No. He's gone back there after doing that. He already did that where he snuck in and the guy catches him and is like, "Take what you want." And then he comes back at the end. I thought the Mennonite stuff was over. Yeah.
No. He goes in. She's in the shower. He goes and lays on their bed, and the husband comes in. And
this is way before.
Before the dance?
Yeah.
And Holly Hunter?
Because the last scene is just him, I think, outside the house.
Walking by, hearing her sing, and he just keeps walking.
Oh, yeah.
And then we see him shuffling like a fucking dirtbag.
Dude, you know what I really like?
It's like he's got a full diaper. The way that guy walks.
I really liked how much of a creepy little weirdo he was after he got sober. Like, this guy's problems did not go away from getting sober. He's still a straight up fucking weirdo. And a lot of that's probably been, being on drugs and trauma. But like, he's a fucking little weirdo.
There's a really nice scene. I think this occurs before he breaks in. Where he's spying on them eating. And they're having a row, the wife and the husband, a marital spat. They go into the next room, and she throws open the curtains.
And he thinks he's caught.
Face to face, he freezes, but she doesn't see him.
Her lights are on, he's in the darkness.
He's outside.
He's perfectly far enough away from the window for her to not see him.
So she turns around, and now her back is to the window, and he reaches through the glass and lays hand on her head. And you could, it seems like she's...
it's
comforted by it, falls into it.
Some sort of
a biblical moment.
Fantasy hallucination.
Is it happening? Right. And then he pulls his hand back out and he's just like, "I did it. I'm Jesus' son."
It's a line from
they
the
say
Velvet
the line
Underground.
in the movie. And
it's a Velvet Underground lyric.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
From
so
heroin.
then eventually he's on cloud 9 at the end. He's feeling good about himself.
I think he's
finding his way.
Yeah, he's not as lost as he was.
Unfortunately, he's betting a woman who every man she's with dies. So, that's...
I don't even know if they're, like, together at the end. That could have just been
Yeah, they probably
just
hooked up, and it was...
Could just be, like, an adult relationship of two sober people comforting themselves.
Yeah. I would have went after that nurse myself. The stockier nurse.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Oh, you know what? No, because there's a nice scene. I don't know if this happens before. I feel like him walking off is the final scene.
No, you're right. Down
so this must have been right before that, where he's at the convalescent home.
Oh, and he's touching everybody.
Touching everyone, and they're moving in a choreographed way. Mm-hmm. It feels almost like a musical, but it doesn't. Nothing happens. It doesn't go anywhere.
Well, I think it's showing him growing and becoming like a real adult compared to that prolonged adolescence he was in. He
kind of felt like
cares.
He was a shepherd.
He's connecting. Yeah, he's giving. I don't know.
It's his flock.
He grows so much by the end of the movie.
Kind of. The character and his portrayal of the character doesn't.
He's a mess.
All. He is the same moron at the end that he is at the beginning. He's just in a better place.
Well, he's more open. He's not running the scam. He's not. I don't know. I feel like he grows quite a bit.
Because he says to Holly Hunter, "How you doing?" Right? And he goes, "I'm not stealing." Right? Aside from the copper.
Well, it's not like we...
What else has he stolen?
Dude, he was a junkie for a long time.
Yeah,
but
we never saw him...
Of course not, but why wouldn't he be doing it? What are you talking about?
I don't know.
What do drug addicts do?
Maybe he's playing the lotto.
Nah, man, once you can't function
Maybe
at work anymore...
Maybe he's got a paper route.
People steal. That's all there is. That's what's left for you.
Maybe I just am a stickler and I need to see it.
Well, that's the wrong way to view this movie.
Maybe. So, this movie is exactly what it is and it's a very 1999 movie.
This is your fantasy for us to have completely opposite views on a movie. You mentioned it. I was worried it was going to happen for this one.
Yeah, like I said, I thought everybody in this movie was great. And I thought Billy Crudup was good, too.
His character bothered you so much.
Quite possibly the worst character so far that he's played in this.
That's fucking crazy talk. You know what? Ask me my rating.
You know what? I like Monument Avenue better than this movie.
That's the... But
No, tell me your rating. Give me your rating.
Shut up. Take it back.
Give me your rating.
I am going to give this movie a 10 out of 10. I am going to give Billy Crudup a 9 out of 10. I love this movie. I still love this movie. This movie brings me joy.
Hey, man. Good on you.
Love it.
Good on you.
All right, yeah, I don't mean to be hostile. I'm sorry.
No.
I can't
it's
believe
fine.
you said you liked Monument Avenue more than that.
I obviously didn't, but
Okay, thank you very much.
if
for
I had to
clarifying.
choose which one I wanted to watch a second time,
Monument Avenue drags so much. This one just clips along.
this one feels like a quirky late 90s movie in all the wrong ways for me. In all the wrong ways for me. I don't even know what I could equate it to, really. Salton Sea? So, I give this movie, based on the performances, I liked the direction. I thought was very strong. God, I don't know, man. A 6?
Okay.
Clearly, I remember very little of it.
Yeah.
In pivotal
You're gonna be
points.
thinking about Denis Leary dying.
Man, that Denis Leary, it's almost a cameo. But his chunk of the movie, by far the best part for me. By far. I love that scene where they were like
Yeah. The horseplay.
playing peekaboo and shit. God damn it. It's so exuberant and childlike. I'd give this movie a 6. Right? Now, as far as Billy Crudup's performance, again, it's his movie. And he's making choices. I just think the material is for that character. God. I'll give him a 7.
Oh, wow. It's not like you were going a way different direction.
Like I said, if I felt the character had actually grown, personality-wise, matured.
I mean, I think he did.
Technically, but
I think maybe
he was... God, let's just call it.
Watch it again.
I'll never watch this movie again.
Well, I'll get you the book. Dennis Johnson wrote this book, Jesus' Son,
Yeah.
along with quite a few other books. He died about a decade ago.
Oh.
I think
What
at
other
the
books
age
did
of
he write?
67. Fuck.
Yeah, put you on the spot.
No. Oh, I had a handful of them, too.
The Bible?
No, there's one. God, what is it? It's like the end of the world, something like that. That one was pretty good. I actually didn't really like Jesus' Son a ton when I read the book after watching the movie.
Is this a faithful adaptation?
I mean, yeah, it is chunks like this. There might
Okay.
be I think there's probably a little more material in there to clue you in on some other things.
Sure,
I haven't. I mean, it's been 20 years since I read the book. I read it within a year or two of seeing the movie in the theaters.
God, this got a theatrical release. That's so crazy to think.
Limited.
Well,
I mean,
that
I
was
in
the time.
Sioux Falls.
though. I mean, this would not hit a theater now.
Yeah, it's now Marvel.
Well, yeah.
And it's a piece of shit. Fuck everybody.
No, honestly,
No, I don't mean. I'm not throwing baby fits. I appreciate you watching it. I like.
it's a tough call, because I don't think I've disliked him as much in any other movie, and maybe it's just because he looks so much like Ashton Kutcher in this movie.
Now maybe Ashton Kutcher looks like him.
Now,
Maybe he copied
now,
Crudy's look. Can we call him Crudy?
no, he looks. Yeah, you know what? If you would have said Ashton Kutcher based his character in the '70s show on this character,
I mean, he could have.
I would have said I believe that 100%.
I think the 70s show probably came out a little bit sooner. But
Than this movie?
I think maybe it might have beat it by a year or two.
So then Billy Crudup copied Ashton Kutcher.
No, it's a 70s look. it's a very, very straightforward 70s look. All right, guys, please tell us what you think about this movie. Or maybe you will never watch it because we took you through everything that happened in it. Or maybe you have strong feelings about it. Hit us up on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
We doing filmographies. Email us at wedoingfilmographies@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Jules and I were talking about the other day. We could do this podcast forever just because we like being forced to watch filmographies and to have somebody to talk to about them. Because our girlfriends don't want to hear that shit.
No.
Not even one bit.
No.
Once a week, we get to hang out and talk about movies.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God somebody will talk about movies with us. But we'd be real happy if we had 100 listeners.
Yeah. So we have one more episode in the Billy Crudup filmography.
Waking the Dead.
Uh-huh.
The movie I saw after I fell in love with Billy Crudup in Jesus' Son.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that probably influenced my feelings.
Based on what I remember from watching the trailer, I don't know what to expect from this one. So this will be interesting.
Boy, oh boy.
So I've been Jules.
I've been Jason.
We've been doing filmographies.
We've been doing them real good. Have a good night, everybody.